Organizing things like this has a wheel that brings change. And I'm so happy and honored to be invited today. What is the right man or vocation different is that every little thing they do, they document. Every little bit they make noise about it. But we Africans do more, or we don't document them.
One young person who has been ignited can lead to the social transformation of their community. That is what one youth stands for. One youth does not believe in crowd. We believe in just one person. Just one person. We believe that if one person can choose unrepentantly to do change in the community, the forces of nature will organize and work together to ensure that such change is bettered.
Salimon now once said, "Show me the incentive and I will show you the outcome." Now, this statement cuts to the core of the drivers behind human decisions. And human beings do not make decisions just because the decisions or the choices are altruistic in themselves. And the average person makes decisions based on the incentives attached to them.
The tragedy of education in the Ebonyi State is not lack of money. Money is being given, but what happens? You find out that learning does not happen. And then when funding increases and rises and performance falls, we are not investing in schools, we are subsidizing failure.
What the government can do in this case is to increase teachers' training and welfare, provide equal infrastructure access both in rural and urban communities, and invest in libraries, in ICTs, in laboratories, and monitoring with evaluation without attaching this thing to funding.
And we want to show you don't eradicate failure by starving the hearing, rather you raise them from the ground. That's how education can move forward. Secondly, my argument, I would like you to know that UNICEF recorded that 70% of schools in the Ebonyi State are overcrowded. Recording the teacher-student ratio being very, very high. Having one teacher are handling for about 70.
As the Vice Chancellor of IPSU, I have a few problems with the Commissioner of Education. First, when you reduce the tuition to just 50,000 naira, it marginally reduce the incentive of institutions to be able to sort out emergency needs and urgent tuition. Then essentially means that in their own word, universities cannot take control of urgent and immediate needs. We think that that is something that is very problematic. But the second problem becomes that when you actually reduce these fees and all of that, it becomes very difficult, especially where different colleges of education, different tertiary institutions in the Ebonyi State have peculiar needs and all of that. So it becomes very difficult for you to have a unified way of regulating, because the problems of EBSU is definitely different from the problems of Ebonyi State College of Education and all of that.
In June, staffs were not paid. Throughout 2024, we had issues of staffs not being getting paid. And then the alternatives to which we get staffs incentives and all that, we are beginning to cut it short. What you will begin to have is that these staffs they are no longer motivated. They no longer teach. You begin to have a dwindled educational system. The quality that they are talking about begins to fail. And do you know what happens when you go ahead and say you want to put these laws and put these things? These teachers will want to make the money somehow, and that's why you now have extortion, like lecturers selling the handouts for 15,000, and then the cost still comes back.
I mean, the major responsibility of the government, according to Section 18 of the Constitution, is to provide equal and adequate educational opportunity at all levels for these individuals. This is already solidified by the social contract theory. So at the end of the day, when these governments don't provide these amenities for these individuals, it becomes a violation of this constitution and a breach of that social contract theory.
So because there's an increase in fees, we create a world where only the elite or well-to-do have a chance at really being students of the university. They have a chance at affording this education, and so the poor people, we really don't have anything to do. And this is not theoretical. JAMB reported in 2022 that 1.7 million students registered for UTME, yet less than 600,000 students actually went on to secure these admissions due to financial constraints.